Remember, our goal is to trace the contours of our face. We're trying to make almost like a cartoon version or the most simplest lines and shapes that make up our face so that we can fill those lines and shapes with words. So we added our photo yesterday into Sketches Pro, and we made it as big as we possibly can to fill up the space. We turned it sideways because our iPad is longer than it is tall. So now that I have a really giant version of me looking like I'm lying down sideways, I'm going to touch the paper in the upper right hand corner, right here. That's called the layers. And we did this yesterday, but as a review, we added by hitting the plus sign. And when we did that, notice the blue bar jumped to the new empty section. And now it's like putting a tracing paper over the top of our photo because we're now going to trace all of the lines and shapes that make up ourselves and make us look like us. So I'm going to use 2 fingers by pulling apart and zooming in on some of the areas that I want to make my contour lines of. So I'm going to choose this tool. Remember, it doesn't really matter what tool I choose as long as you can see the lines and it's dark enough that you can draw. If you have problems with your crayon, your stylus, let me know and I can show you where to add just using your finger, because that's all I have. I don't have a stylus, I just use my finger. So now that I want to zoom out again, I can use my 2 fingers and pinch them towards each other. That lets me zoom out. I'm going to include all of the lines. Remember, I'm going to use shapes. So a shape is a closed line, so that's a shape. I'm going to really try to follow the contours that I see on my hair. So I want to really follow and make it look like me. I don't want to just start drawing lines everywhere. I really want to make those lines match me. I want to include the lines that make up my face, my neck, my shoulders if you can see them, my hair. So if I make a mistake, I can hit the back arrow up in the left-hand corner, or there's an eraser tool. I can use that too. So I'm going to keep going and going through all of the contours. See if that one doesn't match the shape exactly of my eye, I can back it up and make sure that I'm really clear, because the whole goal of this, 5th graders, is to really make something that looks like us. That's really what we want to create. So I'm going to get some of my eyelashes in there. Something with your nose. When you trace your nose, and I told my 4th graders this last year, you really want to include these lines here around your nostrils, maybe a little bit on these sides. But what we don't want to do is go up like this, or even connect those lines, because I've seen people do that. And here's why. When I click on my layers again, right up here, and then I can see 2 things now, and I should be able to see my photo and my drawing. If I touch the eyeball on the photograph, not the drawing, but on the photograph, oh my goodness, I can start to see what my line drawing is looking like. And I know that that's not what my nose looks like in real life. So I'm going to put that eyeball back on, and I'm going to erase some of those lines on my nose. Okay, so now when I go back to this, oh, that's going to be a better representation of how my nose is going to look. So just those lines around the nostrils are best. When you do your lips, you want to make sure that you do the top lip. There's 2 parts to it, and the bottom lip. And we talked about including or not including the teeth. I'll leave that up to you. So as I'm working, I can keep going back to those layers, and I can touch the eyeball on the photograph and start seeing how I'm doing. Oh, I can tell that I'm missing a line here in my face. Can you see that? So now I'm going to put that back in. Oh, there's that line I missed, and I'm going to go back and add that line in. When I get completely finished, I should be pretty satisfied that I have a drawing that looks kind of like me. It's got most of the lines that include my face, so that is what I'm going to be using to trace for our next step of making our micrography.